In the same way that SwiftUI makes UI development easy, CoreML makes machine learning easy. How easy? Well, once you've got a trained model with CreateML, you can then get predictions from your model in just 2 lines of code. You just send the values in to use as input and then read what comes back. In our case, we already made our trained model using CreateML, so it's now time to use that. What you want to do is find that ML model you made earlier. This is the output here, the 545 bytes for me. That's our trained model right now. You want to drag that file into Xcode's Project Navigator, over here next to Content View. Then release it, make sure we have copy items when needed, and add the target like this, then press Finish. Now, when you add an ML model to Xcode like we just did there, it'll automatically create for us a Swift class of the same name. You can't see the class. It's not really code. You haven't got to. It's actually made automatically for us as part of the build process. However, it does mean if your model file is named oddly, then the auto-generated class will also be named oddly. No matter what name your model had previously, please select it here and rename it to be sleep calculator.ml model. Exactly like that. Sleep calculator. Capital S, capital C. Now see here, it's making it for us. Auto-generated Swift model class. So, how can we be sure it's the name of the class? Well, simple. Like I said, you just select it. It'll tell you the name of the class right here. This class is called Sleep Calculator. It's right there telling us what it is. You'll see it knows our author. That's my name here, but it'll be your name for you. It knows the various input values this thing accepts. So you can say up here, we have predictions. It wants input of wake double, estimated sleep double, and coffee double. And also the output, actual sleep as a double. These were encoded directly in that model file, which is why it was comparatively quite big. Now we're going to start filling in this calculate bedtime method in just a minute. But before that, we've got to add an import so we can get all of CoreML's functionality brought into our app. It's outside SwiftUI by default. So scroll top of your file and just here before import SwiftUI, add import CoreML. Now you don't need to put CoreML before SwiftUI, it can go after just fine. But I think having them alphabetical order just makes them easy to check later on. Anyway, with that in place, we can now go down and fill in this calculate bedtime method. First, we're going to make an instance of our sleep calculator class. We'll do a do block, then let config be a new ML model configuration, and make our model as try sleep calculator with configuration of config. And then we'll do more code to come down here. And finally, a little catch block of something went wrong. So this model instance is a thing that reads in all our data and will output a prediction for us. The configuration is here in case you want to make a handful of what are fairly obscure options, quite frankly. Perhaps working in folks in machine learning full time will need these very much, but honestly, I'd guess only 1 in 1,000 folks actually care. But it's there if you want to expand it further and further. But I do want you to focus on this do catch block here, the wider thing, because using CoreML can throw errors. It might say, oh yes, sorry, I couldn't even load your model for some reason, it totally failed. But also we ask for predictions. Now, honestly, I don't think I've ever had a prediction fail in my life, but there's no harm being safe. Anyway, we trained this model with a CSV containing the following fields. We said there's a wake field. When the user wants to wake up, this is expressed as a number of seconds from midnight. So to get 8 a.m., they'd say 8 hours multiplied by 60 minutes multiplied by 60 seconds. That's 28,800 seconds. We have estimated sleep going in, roughly how much sleep the user thinks they want to have. There's values between 4 through 12 in quarter increments. And we have coffee, roughly how many cups of coffee the user drinks per day. So, in order to get a prediction out of our model, we've got to fill in those values. We already have two of them. We have sleep amount up here, and we have coffee amount. They're mostly good enough, right? This thing's currently a integer, got to be a double, so Swift's happy, but otherwise it's fine. But figuring out wake time when they want to wake up is more difficult. Because right now we have this date value, date.now, whatever they changed it to. We haven't got a double, and this double has to be the number of seconds since midnight. We haven't got that so far. Helpfully, this is where Swift's date components type comes in. It'll store all the parts of our date as individual values, hour, minute, second, and so forth. So we can read the hour out and the minute out and ignore the rest. All we're going to do there is multiply a minute by 60 to get seconds, and the hour by 60 by 60 to get seconds, because it's minutes and seconds like that. And so we're going to try and get a date components value from this date thing, calling calendar.current.dateComponents. Then request the hour and minute out of that thing, pass in our wake up date, and we're good to go. This thing that comes back, remember, has properties for every possible part of the date. Year, month, day, time zone, and so forth, but most of them won't be set. We're going to ask just for hour and minute. They will be set, but they'll still be optional, so we'll have to do some nil coalescing. So, in place of this more code to come part here, we're going to say our components is calendar.current.dateComponents. I'm going to ask for hour and minute from our wake up date, like that. So we'll get back the components. In here, you'll see day, month, year, nanosecond, time zone, and so forth. There's a whole bunch of things in here. We only actually want the hour and minute. But again, they might not be there. You can see they are marked as optional integer, optional integer. So we're going to say that our hour value is the component's hour value, nil coalescing 0. There's always a value there. We want that in seconds. So I'll multiply by 60 to get minutes, and then 60 again to get seconds. And then our minute value, the same thing again. We have components.minute, nil coalescing 0, multiply by 60 to get seconds. So we're reading 0 for hour or 0 for minute if somehow they can't be read. But realistically, that's just not going to happen because we've asked them specifically, give me the hour and give me the minute. My dogs like time zones apparently. Give me the hour and give me the minute. So we know they're going to be there, but there's no harm being safe. We said, please, nil coalesce to 0, no matter what. You're good dogs. You clearly like time very much. The next steps is to feed the values into CoreML and see what comes out. This is done. You're a very loud eater dog. This is done by calling its prediction method of our model. And that'll say, give me the wake up time, give me the estimated sleep time, give me the coffee amount values, all now, all as double values. And then, once we have that, we're good to go. Now, we just calculated our hour and minute values, add seconds, so we can add those together for passing them in to get a total number of seconds. And so we'll say here, our prediction is try model.prediction. And you can see it's saying, give me the wake, estimated sleep, and coffee. So the wake time will be the double of our hour value plus our minute value. So that's many seconds in the future they want to wake up. Then estimated sleep, that's going to be our sleep amount. And then coffee, it's an int right now. It needs to be a double. So I'll say make a double from our coffee amount, like that. And there's still more code to come below. Now this in place. This prediction value now contains how much sleep they actually need. This almost certainly wasn't in our training data, but was instead computed dynamically by the CoreML algorithm. Because an unknown coffee amount, sleep amount, wake up time, unknown. But the algorithm will figure it out based on previous data. Now, that value, the prediction here, is not a helpful value for users because it'll be some number in seconds. You know, you want to go to bed now in seconds. Unhelpful, right? What we want to do is convert this time into something meaningful, which means subtract this from the time you want to wake up. Figure out, okay, you want to wake up at this time, how much sleep you need is this, subtract the two, your bedtime should be this. Now, thanks to Apple's powerful APIs, That's just one line of code because you can actually subtract a value in seconds directly from any date you like. You get like a new date. So I'll say, let our sleep time be equal to our wake up time minus prediction.actual sleep. How much sleep they actually need. Take that away from their wake up time, and that is a time they should go to bed. And now we know the exact time they should go to sleep. Our final challenge, for now at least, is to show that to the user somehow. We're doing this with an alert, and you've already seen that, and of course it's very straightforward to do, so we'll add it here. First things first, we'll say there are new properties. The track, at state, private var, the alert title, empty string by default. With another one for the alert message. Again, empty string by default. And another one for us showing the alert or not. Currently defaulting to false, do not show the alert. And now we can use those values immediately in calculate bedtime down here. We're going to at least do the easy parts. If something's gone wrong, what we're going to do, we'll say alert title is error. Alert message is sorry, there was a problem calculating your bedtime. And regardless of whether or not the prediction worked or not, we can just say below this whole try-catch thing, showing alert is true. Now, if this whole chunk of stuff has worked successfully, we now have the correct sleeping time here in this constant. Now we know the time they want to go to bed. But this thing, sleep time, is a date rather than some sort of neatly formatted string. And so we're going to pass this thing through the formatted method to make sure it's human readable and assign that to our alert message. And so the final lines of code we'll put in calculate bedtime after this let sleep time constant here will be alert message equals your ideal bedtime is, and that title should be that, sorry. An alert message is going to be our sleep time dot formatted. The date we don't care about, it can be omitted. But the time is shortened. Tell me the hour, minute, and second they want to put on the screen. And now, to wrap up this whole stage of the app, we're going to add an alert modifier to show this title and message when the alert, when the showing alert boolean becomes true. And so, up in our SwiftUI view hierarchy here, below toolbar, I'm going to say there's an alert of alert title is presented bound to $showing alert. We'll do a button saying OK with no action and a message of our text alert message, like so. Did I make a mistake? I did. There's a missing brace there. My mistake. Let's press Command R to build and run the code and see what we think. So I'll say I want to wake up at 7 a.m. That is a lie-in for me sometimes because I've got 2 kids. I like having lots of sleep, so at least 8 hours, but I drink a lot of coffee, so I'll say 3 cups. It thinks my bedtime is 10:10 p.m. There you go. That is surprising. And if I go to 1 cup like that, 10:30, yeah, because I get much more sleep if I go to bed and drink less than coffee, which is nice. So the app works. Doesn't look great, but it works.